Hey friends, welcome back to Unleash Your Light with Luz, where we have honest conversations about living a life that actually feels like yours, not just one that we're surviving through. Today's episode is going to be one of those lean-in conversations, the kind where you might feel called out or attacked. I'm sorry, but it is going to be in the best way. And it's coming from a place of love because it is time to finally face something that might be standing in the way of your peace, your power, and your next chapter. And I'm talking about what you're avoiding is where the breakthrough lives. Yep. That thing you keep pushing down, putting off, talking to certain people about, and never actually doing anything about it. It's not just sitting there quietly, it's actually draining your energy and holding the key to the freedom that you keep saying that you want. I know, I've been there. Avoidance isn't laziness, it is protection, right? So let's start by getting one thing straight. Avoidance isn't a character flaw, it's not laziness. It's actually your body and mind trying to protect you. This is totally normal. Let's say you've been avoiding looking at your finances because the numbers just make you, feel that shame, right? Or maybe you keep putting off launching your side hustle because what if it fails? What will others say about you? What if you succeed and can't keep up? I know, I have been there. I felt that way too. Your nervous system is smart. It says, stay safe, stay comfortable, don't rock the boat. But let me tell you that comfort isn't the same as peace, and safety isn't the same as fulfillment. Okay, so you might be comfortable, doing the same routine every day, day in, day out, but inside you feel stuck, you feel unfulfilled, maybe even resentful. That's God tapping on the door saying, hey, babe, there's more for you. I made you for so much more. Oh, I don't know about you, but I feel like God has been getting a little tired of tapping. And it's just like at this point, it's like, babe, I got you. I got you, right? Okay, so how does avoidance show up? Let's call out a few common ways that avoidance hides in completely plain sight. The first one is overthinking. You're not lazy. You're just stuck in analysis paralysis. So I had a client who spent months planning the perfect launch, sales page, website, fonts, but just never posted her offer. Why? Because showing up meant being visible, vulnerable, seen. It just, it makes sense to a certain extent. But then when you recognize that, you're like, she was, when we worked through that, she realized that she was scared of being seen, right? Of being vulnerable, of putting herself out there. The second way that this shows up is busyness. You fill your schedule with things that look productive, like laundry, errands, cleaning the house, or over planning, but none of it moves your dreams forward. Sound familiar? The other one is the later syndrome. I'll do that later. I'll work on my business when the kids are older. I know I've said that, right? Like I have a lot of dreams and I'll say, "Oh, maybe this is just my time to focus on my kids." And there's nothing wrong with that, but if you feel that what God is calling you or your heart is calling you to do now is to do now, right? We also say things like, "I'll take care of myself after this busy season." But sis, when is later going to stop being the excuse? Tomorrow is not promised. You have to do it today, whether it's taking care of your health or starting that business. You just have to start, and you have to start today. It doesn't matter how big or small, and I'll touch on that later, but you just have to start. The fourth way that this shows up is via perfectionism. We tend to think that waiting for the right time, but really what we're doing is we're afraid of starting messy. Perfectionism is a lie. Let me say that again. Perfectionism is a lie. You have to start messy and improve with time. I love this idea. If you're perfect, then there is no room for improvement. I remind myself of that many, many times when I want to do things perfectly, like this podcast. And I just have to remind myself. I just have to, if I am perfect, there is no room for improvement. And God only knows I have so much to improve, right? We all do. So here's the truth: avoidance is just fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of letting someone down, fear of finally becoming the version of you've been dreaming about. And yet, your breakthrough is sitting right behind that fear, just waiting for you to peek around the corner and receive you with open arms. So I want to share a little bit of how I can relate to just avoiding things, right? My personal story is basically, is with this podcast. This podcast is a perfect example. I started this podcast in January of 2024. And shout out to all of you who have loved and supported me. I just have so much to thank you for. It was a dream that I had for a really long time, and I kept putting it off. And then by like April, May of that same year, which was last year, I was allowing things like overwhelm, overthinking, busyness, and perfectionism to become excuses. And then I stopped. I said, I'll do it again when things calmed down a little bit more, right? Maybe when the girls go back to school, yada, yada, yada. That's what I was saying to myself, right? Almost an entire year went by practically, and I only did it. I think I did one or two episodes between then and now before I stopped again. Right. So I'm not proud to share this, to be completely honest with you. That is something that is very vulnerable and can come with a lot of shame, right? But God always finds a way to get us back on track with his plan for our lives. And here I am, continuing regardless of the challenges that I face. And God does things in very different ways than we may actually imagine them. For me, it's like he knew that I needed not only help, but that I love working with other women. I don't know why my creativity just sparks up even more when I work with other women. This is why part of this podcast is me interviewing other women and telling their stories, right? And asking them questions and sharing their stories with you. So he put this incredible woman in my path who is such a talented and creative person, not so that I can only get back my podcast, but make it even better. And here I am making it on YouTube as well. So if you are watching or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, now you know it is also on YouTube. So he put this incredible woman in my path. She is super talented, creative, and she really, I don't know why, I thought of her when I wanted to get back to this. And she has helped me so much. She is my friend and now producer, Jaima Crespo. Maybe, we'll do an episode with her one day so you guys can get to know her. She is incredible. But, like I said, God works in incredible, mysterious ways. What we have to do is just keep moving forward, right? The point is that we have to be aware of the things that are holding us back and that are making us avoid the things that we know that we want to do and will, and that will and actually can really change our lives, right? So as a life coach, I was able to coach myself the same way that I coach my clients. I asked myself questions like, Luz, why are you avoiding discomfort? Or why are you avoiding growth, really, right? I want you to ask yourself the same hard questions that I asked myself to figure out what is holding me back. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 3 simple and powerful steps to help you overcome this avoidance of the thing that you actually want, right? Because it's kind of contradicting. You really want it and then you don't do it. Let's make this real for you. Here's what you can do if you're feeling like, yes, this is me. This is me right now, Luz. I need this. All right. The first one is name it without shame. This is huge, guys. This is huge. There's this thing that says darkness is right? Like the way to get rid of darkness is by shining a light on it, right? And that's the same thing with shame, with things that really hold us back. So ask yourself, what am I avoiding right now? Say it loud, write it down. I love writing things down because I forget. And writing it down, is a way for me to go back to it and reminding me exactly how I thought about it at that moment. This is powerful because the moment you name it, you take away its power and you take your power back. So, for example, I'm avoiding looking at my health and my body. I'm avoiding asking for help because it makes me feel weak. I'm avoiding stepping out on faith because I'm scared. There is no shame here, right? It is just awareness, and awareness creates choice. Okay, so number 2 is get curious, not critical. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid that might happen if I face this? Will I look stupid? Will I feel rejected if I get the wrong outcome? What story am I telling myself? Maybe you're telling yourself, I'm not good with money, so I'm not going to look at that, right? Or I don't have any support. Nobody supports me. And the other question is that story even true? Think about it. So I'll give you an example. One of my clients was avoiding putting herself out there because she believed, this is what she believed, that people will think I'm a fraud and that I've never taught anything in front of anyone. But when we unpacked it, she realized that she wasn't even sharing it with anyone. So how can they even judge it? And more importantly, what if she did share it, and what if they supported her? And then, they loved what she was doing, but she wouldn't find out if she wouldn't put herself out there. And then the third very powerful step to do is take one brave micro step. You don't have to do the big scary thing right now. That's something that I feel I do this for myself. Again, everything that I share, I have either, for the most part, I have gone through it myself, or I've had some of my life coaching clients go through it and I've helped them through it. But for the most part, it's me. I've gone through it, so I know. We tend to see the bigger picture and really not just like become paralyzed, right? But what we have to do is figure out what the small next step is. That's it, right? Just do the next best thing. I'll give you guys some example. So if you're avoiding starting a health routine, right, to improve your health, drink water before your coffee in the morning, or do 5 minutes of some type of movement, or go for a 5-minute walk. Whatever it is, but do one thing that will move you closer to that. If you're avoiding launching a business, then the next best thing, that one small step that you could do, is make a call or post one story on your social media asking people questions, right? Kind of doing your research. And one thing that I know a lot of us busy moms avoid is rest. But we know that rest is important. So how about we put our phones down at 9:00 tonight and not scroll? Trust me, I know. I love the scroll too, but maybe read a book instead of scrolling. And just think about this. Momentum doesn't come from motivation. It comes from movement. Let's say that if I were coaching you, right, this is what I'd ask you. And I want you to think about these or write them down. What's one thing you've been avoiding that you're ready to face this week? And I challenge you. Can you take one micro action in the next 24 hours? Not to be perfect, not to be fearless, right? Because the goal is not to be fearless. We can do things besides the fear, but the goal is to be brave, because the light you're looking for, that clarity, that confidence, that next chapter, it's not in a to-do list. Well, you want to take action, yes, but it's not just doing another to-do list, literally another to-do list. It is in the thing that you're avoiding, right? It's not in the planning. It's not in the thinking. It is in the doing, the thing that you're avoiding. and your future self is already on the other side of it, waiting for you to step forward. So today, let this be your permission slip, not to do it all, not to fix everything, but to face one thing with honesty, with love, and with courage. And just know that you don't have to do it alone. Find someone, it could be a friend or your spouse, or it just anybody, your mom, your siblings, somebody that you can share this with, something that you want to do and that can keep you accountable without making you feel bad in whichever way that may show up for you, right? If you want to also like reach out to me on social media and on Instagram, my handle is @FitReporter. You can also, I will be there for you as much as I can. All right, guys, that is it. That is all I have for you today. I hope that this episode really helped you. I hope that it really spoke to you, that it really gives you the support and those 3 tips that you really need to just keep moving forward through exactly these kinds of stuck points, right? The things that keep you stuck. You can find the link in the show notes. And if you're tired of circling around your breakthrough, maybe it's time to walk through the door. Let's stop avoiding and start activating. Thanks for being here with me. If you love this episode, send it to a friend who needs to hear it, screenshot it, and tag me on Instagram @FitReporter. I love hearing from you guys and hearing all the takeaways from the episodes. Remember, you were never meant to stay small. You are meant to shine. So please keep going, friends. Keep growing and keep unleashing your light. Bye.